That was my reaction after Jalen Hurts threw his third and pretty much game-clinching interception to the New York Jets that led to the go-ahead score and ultimately the game. So congratulations to the New York Jets. For the first time ever, you have defeated the Philadelphia Eagles in the regular season. I guess that 13 really is an unlucky number because the Eagles couldn't touch it. I tell you what, this was a weird weekend for the NFL in general because there were just a lot of close, oddball games that you didn't expect to be close, like, at all. Like, the Broncos actually staying toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. I mean, you look at the highlights of that game, and it looks like Kansas City's in control. They pretty much were, tempo-wise and stuff. Like, Kansas City's defense, I tell you what, they look pretty damn good. I mean, I know it's the Broncos and, Russell Wilson ain't what he used to be, but you gotta admit, Wilson's playing a lot better than he was last year. And the Broncos, I know their record is 1-5, and, but you know what? They have been in games. You gotta admit that. The Broncos are at least a competitive group this year. I mean, I really can't recall what they were like last year. I just know they were an absolute mess. And it was a forgettable season. Not saying that this one is to be highlighted at all either, but Denver definitely, I would think, is playing a tad better. Just competitive-wise. Not enough to win, but enough to make things interesting. Like, the Denver Broncos have to be like the most interesting one-loss team in NFL history. And I don't know why. Just the way they're losing. Just, for some reason, it just fixates your attention. But it's not in the positive manner. But it's entertaining, so it's good for somebody. TV ratings, at least. But I read an interesting point on this one website. I think it was AZ Sports, and I forget the name of the author, so I apologize. Not taking full credit for what I read and about to quote. But I think this person might have a point. Are defenses just getting better? Like, think about it. Like, it's no secret that the NFL is trying to evolve into the fucking NBA. They want to be all about offense and points and endurance and, fuck defense because, like, baseball, it's boring. Or is it? I mean, think about it. Sometimes a close defensive contest can be entertaining. Look at the Chiefs and Broncos game. I mean, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, he still looked like Patrick Mahomes in that game. Like, the Chiefs offense looks to function a lot better than the Eagles offense, and I'll touch more on that later. But maybe the defenses are just getting better. And they're figuring out how to slow down these high-octane offenses. I mean, that's the whole point of the defense, right? They're supposed to stop the other team, or at least slow them down. It's not all about endurance, If we want to do that, why even bother having defense? Just have both offenses out there competing with each other. Which quarterback can throw the first? I mean, essentially, it would just be like the Pro Bowl competition skill set. Essentially, that's what the NFL, I think, is heading for. Or, as everyone would say, professional flag football. But hopefully, maybe we're another lifetime away from that ever becoming fruition. But, yeah. So, how about those Eagles? I tell you what, that's why I'm making this one so late. Let me tell you. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this was my initial reaction. The second that ball got thrown. I could tell, because he was under pressure, he got hit, And I was praying to God nothing bad would happen, and then like I was numb with rage. Like I literally had to go upstairs, lock myself in my room. The lights were off. So, that phrase, you're in a dark place. I was in a dark place because I was pissed. Now, credit the Jets defense. Like, they were missing two of their top players. And they made the Eagles offense look pedestrian. But is that a credit to the Jets defense? Or is that just Brian Johnson and everybody still not fucking clicking? 6 weeks into the season. And this offense is nowhere near as potent as it was last year. And I think we've all just about had it. Like even the sports analysts. Like you've seen the headlines for ESPN. My goodness, who isn't calling out Jalen Hurts? And I will admit, I'm concerned too. Now, to reciprocate what I just said, maybe defenses are figuring it out. So they're figuring out Jalen Hurts. So he needs to step up a little bit. He needs to, get creative. Needs to reimagine himself. He needs to fix something. But let's not put it all on him. This one guy, while I was at work the one day, this one customer who's an Eagles fan, he came to me and he said, "What's wrong with Hurts? The guy looks like he's stoned out of his mind. And when he runs, it doesn't look like he's running full throttle." And I admit, it doesn't. Half the time Hurts runs, it looks like he's in, low gear. So I don't know, folks. I'm not in those locker rooms. I'm not a brown noser. I can't honestly say what the hell's going on. Like everybody else trying to predict the weather, I can only speculate. Yes, something's up. What? I can't tell you. I mean, it's a new offensive coordinator. And so far, not liking what I see. Week in and week out, like this Eagles offense just looks pedestrian. Yet, the numbers are there. Statistic-wise, they're high in fantasy value. But you wouldn't think it. I mean, you look at the execution. I mean, numbers and execution are one thing. It's like if you're a numbers person, then that's all you're going to see. You're just going to look at the numbers and think that everything is hunky-dory. But unless you're someone like me who looks beyond the numbers, because numbers are deceiving. Numbers don't tell the whole story. All right? The numbers are there if you don't want to dwell too deep and really see what's going on. It's like you could just feel it. The tempo is so damn off. Like you saw Jason Kelce getting frustrated in Los Angeles the other week. I'd have thought that would have been the wake-up call. It's like, yeah, they defeated the Rams. They shut them out in the second half. But they were still leaving so much opportunity out on the field. And they did it again this week. Credit the Jets defense, yes. It's a good defensive unit. We knew that. And part of me was kind of nervous. Like the way this offense has been planned, and here comes the Jets defense. The Jets are counted out for the season with no Aaron Rodgers. Zach Wilson sucks. There's absolutely no way you're thinking that this team could upset the Eagles. It was the perfect setup. A team that has yet to record a single victory against the Eagles the entire, since the NFL, AFL, just, oh man, I've got so many lines going through my head. It's trying to settle on just one. But yeah, it was literally the perfect setup for the Jets to knock off the Birds. And everyone's still asking, what was more shocking? That The Eagles, and you want to talk about a better setup, like the 49ers lost earlier in the day. So yeah, why not? The Eagles followed suit. So no more undefeated teams. Is that proof that the NFL is choreographed? After this weekend, I think a lot of people are going to buy it now. Because you almost had the Giants upset the Bills. I couldn't believe when I saw that score the following day. Like, after the Eagles lost, I was done with football. Like, I was like, nope, I can't. I need a break. And then I saw the score. I'm like, 14-9, that's it? What the hell, Buffalo? Maybe it's those all-red uniforms or something. They got you playing like the old-school Patriots from the 80s or something. You know? As much as those uniforms look neat, the Patriots didn't have a lot of good times wearing red. Just like the Buccaneers donning the creamsicle uniforms. How well did that work out for them? They sucked when they wore them then, and they sucked against Detroit this past Sunday. Even if they didn't wear the creamsicles, I'm sure that score probably would have been the same. At this rate, you could probably say that the Lions are the best team in the NFL, but giving them the early accolades, you can see how much of a big head the Lions and their fan base already have. And I don't know why, but for some reason, it irks me. Does it irk anybody else? Because it's not the norm. And hey, you know what? They have earned everything they got up to this point. But that's it. They just have 5 wins. I mean, what are they bragging about? What, that the Packers are no longer good? I mean, it's just Jordan Love's first year starting. I mean, we can't expect everybody to come out like Aaron Rodgers. And Brett Favre took a while to get going. So, I don't know. Like, what is it? Like, what is it that has the Lions and the fans being so cocky and arrogant? I mean, I get it. As an Eagles fan, I get it. Now, granted, the Eagles have never had seasons quite as bad as Detroit or Cleveland. Like, it's always been a competitive organization. Problem for the Eagles is that they've always had a division where everybody was winning Super Bowls every now and then. But at least we never went winless during a year, and we never had our team relocated. It's a loyal, passionate fan base. So, you could say we've never had it quite as bad as Lions fans, but we have had our fair share. But most of that frustration's been in the postseason. Which, that'll be the test, Detroit, if you get that far. And that's just it. This is just the regular season. Every week you're acting like the team has won a Super Bowl. It's never been, the Lions have never even been there. One time they've gotten close. One time. And ironically enough, that's the same year that they last won a playoff game. 1991. It has been over 30 plus years since the Lions have won a playoff game. But yet, for some reason, everybody's buying on this hype train. And that just kind of takes away the charm of the Lions. Everybody loves the underdog. The underdog is more fun to root for. When you act like a jerk, well, now we want you to lose. But that's the thing. You've never won anything. You're not entitled to anything. I mean, I shouldn't say you haven't won anything. You have won NFL championships, but come on, nobody gives a damn about those. Like, everybody's told me, yeah, your Eagles have, like, what? They had 3 NFL titles prior to the Super Bowl, but no one cares about that. Anything before the Super Bowl era, nobody takes into account, except Packers fans. Their titles count. Yeah, I know. I'm like just jumping all over the place. Like no smooth transaction into the next sentence or paragraph. And then here I prepare this like rant for the Birds and their pitiful performance against the Jets. And now all of a sudden here I am like trying to like calm down the Lions and their fans. And it's like, I'm not trying to be discouraging, I'm not trying to sound salty, which I do sound like that, but I'm just trying to put some perspective. You've won 5 games, and yes, you do look like one of the best teams in the NFL right now. There's no denying that. But I just don't want you to get your hopes up too high. I mean, it's good to have high hopes, but just don't act surprised when the first time the Lions hit a wall. That's normally what happens to good teams. Teams like, say, Kansas City or the Brady Patriots, the Cowboys of the 90s, and so on and so forth. It's like when you hit that certain wall and it leaves you stunned, or they get on a stretch that's not normal. Yeah, it's just kind of weird to see the Lions, and their fans just suddenly now acting the role of the jerk. When it's like, okay, listen, we get it. This has been a long time coming. A lot of pent-up frustration. You've been treated like shit, walked on like doormats, and you've had it. You feel like this is your year. Revenge of the Lions. But listen, there was always a certain charm to Detroit, and it's gone now, and people don't know what to think of it. It's like, well, it's good that they're playing good, and yeah, it's good that they're competitive and confident, and this could be the year of years, but ain't quite what we pictured. Like, we didn't expect the Lions to come out and start, calling everybody out. We don't want the Lions to act like the Cowboys. We don't want the Lions to act like the Patriots. We don't want the Lions to, act like everybody else that is suddenly good and has the charisma of a possible Super Bowl winner or possibly even greater. We always liked the Lions for being the Lions. Not just because they sucked and, everyone like a doorknob, everybody gets a turn. No. They had a certain charm and appeal. Everybody loves the underdog. And you're trying to make them something that they're not, that nobody likes. But, hey, you know what? I guess tough shit. You don't like them for what they are now, then that's just how it is. Get over it. Move on. But yeah, so getting off of that snide, jumping back to what's more shocking, the Eagles or the 49ers losing on Sunday? I'd have to say the Niners losing. No, it's no shock that my Eagles lost. I've been expecting that for some time. Like I said, the Jets were the perfect setup. Never beaten the Eagles in the regular season, have a stingy defense that was missing 2 key pieces, so everybody counted them out. And listen, right now, let's get it straight. Zach Wilson needs to shut his fucking mouth. He has no room to brag about this game. Because him and that offense didn't do jack fucking shit. All right? The Eagles' defense was keeping you in check. Sure, you were getting field goals, but you can credit your defense to keeping you in the game and making the Eagles' offense look pedestrian. That win goes to the Jets' defense and to the abysmal play calling that is Brian Johnson and wherever the fuck Jalen Hurts' head was that game. Seriously. Like, I don't know what's going on with him, but I feel like this is the wake-up call. He needs to be called out, and I'm finally glad it's happening. A.J. Brown can say that he's not, but you can clearly see the frustration. Like, it's coming to a head. And there's still a few games out from their bye week. But I really hope this was the wake-up call. Because son of a bitch, This is too good of a team with too many good pieces to be playing like this, down to competition every single week. But then again, maybe these teams aren't as bad as you all think. You know, maybe defenses are just getting better. I mean, I don't know about the Giants. I don't know what the hell that was. Just Buffalo, I guess, forgot to show up till the fourth quarter. Wanted to make things interesting, I guess. I don't know. There's a perfect example of the NFL being choreographed. It's the Bills and the fucking Giants game. What the hell was that nonsense? Are you serious, Buffalo? You almost lost to your former quarterback who helped end your playoff drought and to the obliterated Giants. Yeah, I can't figure out 2023 anymore. Oh, is it shocking that the Cowboys beat the Chargers? Come on, no, it's not. It's the Chargers. We knew they'd find a way to bolt that game. And that was a must-comeback win for Dallas. Like, seeing the Niners lose, the team that kicked their ass the following week, and then the Birds go down. Yeah, they needed that win badly. And, you know, Prescott bounced back, had a decent performance. The offense looked decent. Micah Parsons and the Cowboys defense did their part. And the Chargers did their part. You know, even when they got a lucky break on that weird-ass punt fielding fiasco, even then, you know, they find some way to blow that game. But it's, you know, and, you know, it pays me to freaking give Dallas any kind of credit. But after losing to the Niners the way they did, you'd think that'd be demoralizing. And it is. So for them to bounce back the way they did against a decent Charger squad, that's kudos for their confidence. So what did we learn from last week? Is that this NFL season is unpredictable. We have no idea what's going to happen, even when we think we do. But as far as like picking at the 49ers-Browns matchup, I mean, it's almost as reminiscent to the Jets beating the Eagles. The Browns had a decent defense as well. And it didn't help the Niners lost some key players. You know, CMC went out, Debo went out, Trent Williams. But it seems like they're going to be okay for Week 7. Doesn't seem like anything serious. So, yeah, you know, kudos to the Browns. I mean, that's a huge win for them. And Brock Purdy was made to look pedestrian. Threw his first pick ever in the regular season. Had his first loss of the regular season. So maybe that's off the table now. Now the 49ers will get back to business and stuff. Oh, hold on, folks. I'll be right back. All right, thank you. I'll be down. Sorry about that. I was just told lunch is ready. All right, well, guess I better put the wrap up on this. Oh yeah, so one other quick thing. So the Eagles, with all the issues they're now having on the defensive secondary, I mean, a lot of guys are dinged up again, but don't look like anything too serious. Most of them are all questionable, so hopefully they'll be good to roll. Especially with who's coming into town this weekend. Sunday Night Football. Eagles are going to host the Miami Dolphins. And how out of whack our offense looks and how bad they looked against the Jets, what the hell are they going to... the Dolphins... Let's say this. The Dolphins don't have a shutdown defense, so Hurts and company better get back on track. And they're going to have to if they want to keep pace with the quote-unquote best offense in the league. At least the most fast-paced. And and unfortunately, our defense doesn't shut anybody down. So you know damn well the Dolphins are going to have a field day, especially with that depleted backfield. And what do the Eagles do? Like, what do they do to help? They sign Julio Jones? Why? Like, if this was prime Julio just coming out of Atlanta, that would probably be more exciting. But no, this is like on his way out Julio Jones. This is pedestrian Julio Jones. I mean, now that I say that, it kind of makes sense now. Pedestrian wide receiver for a pedestrian type offense. I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. I mean, I don't feel like it's anything worth getting excited about. It's like, okay, we signed an aging receiver who, yeah, we all know once upon a time was one of the best, but what's he going to do now? I mean, he can offer, he'd be great field advice for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. That'd be about it. Why? I don't see the sense in that. Why did they sign another receiver? They didn't need another receiver. We got plenty of guys to catch the damn ball. Brian Johnson just needs to figure out how to do it. Just needs to figure out how to call the offense better. And stop being so scared to make him go deep. Or let Jalen Hurts run. Or to run the ball more. So I'm putting most of the offensive problems on his head before I start calling out the rest of the guys. But yeah, Julio Jones, why? You need defensive backs. Like, what happened to all these talks about signing these defensive back players and going after? I mean, maybe it's still in the works. We're only in the middle of the week. It could still happen. Who knows? But, yeah, just, I don't know, folks. As the way it looks right now, yeah, the Eagles definitely do not look like the Super Bowl contender they were a year ago. You can make the same argument about the Chiefs, but at least they look more polished. And you gotta say, their defense definitely does not get enough credit, because they've been making some noise. So watch out for Kansas City's defense. Well, I think that's going to do it for this video. If I find time, get back on here again. Maybe talk a little bit about the Phillies and how they kicked the snot out of Arizona in Game 2. And now just 2 wins away from going back to the World Series for another year, yeah. And the Flyers won their home opener the other night against Vancouver, 2-0. All right. Well, it's about lunchtime for me, so whenever any of y'all get a chance to watch this video, give it a rate. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I need to work on. Subscribe, hit the thumbs up, all that good stuff. All right, everybody, here we go into, I don't know, maybe a lucky week 7 for some of us. I sure hope for my team. Dear Lord, we're going to need it. All righty. Adios, y'all.